I work as a user experience researcher. I like Jesus, I like food, and I like books, and I like my family and my friends. I've lived in the Netherlands for a little over a year now. When I moved to the Netherlands is I was looking at my career and I wasn't seeing where I could move forward in Nigeria. So a little bit of background is that when I started working as a UX researcher in Nigeria, there was probably only one other UX researcher that I knew of in the entire country. And so you can see that like in the beginning, the scope was very small. And as I continued to advance and develop my skills and grow, and I worked with some of like the top companies in Nigeria already, and I was like, I don't see where I'm moving to from here. And so I started applying actually for remote jobs because I had just gotten married at the time and I didn't want to like move away from my new house that I just moved to. So I was applying mostly to remote jobs, and I wasn't even thinking that I would be able to get a job in the Netherlands because of like the language thing, because you have to speak the language of the users to be able to ask them questions. But somehow I got this job and it worked out, and it turned out that the main audience is not Dutch and is like the US, the UK, English speaking countries, so it worked out. So while I was just applying everywhere, because I wanted somewhere where I could like develop new skills and grow, because I felt like I had learned everything that I needed to learn. So I was just applying everywhere abroad that I could find for both remote and relocation jobs. Although I really didn't want to leave Nigeria at that time because, like I said, just moved to a new house and paid rent. But I was applying on LinkedIn. I did LinkedIn job alerts. I did Google search job alerts. I did like different job alerts. And I wasn't actually keeping track of where I was finding the jobs and where I got to until I got to like the second to the last stage. Then I'm like, okay, this is serious. And I honestly don't remember how I found this particular company, to be honest. I just know that I did first interview and I did second interview, and then they were like, I should send references. So, and it turned out to work really well. And they asked me for a mentor and a mentee as references, and this is why it's good to mentor people. And so I was able to send both, like somebody I had worked with as, and that could be like as a mentor, and then somebody I had worked with that I had mentored as well. Because I was married and I had to legitimize my marriage certificates. I didn't know that until that time. So it kind of made the process like 1 or 2 weeks longer. But besides that, everything was really quick and smooth, and there were no troubles or issues at all. There actually hasn't been like much of language barrier experiences, except when I go to church, because my church is like very Dutch, and although there's like English translation, a lot of people speak only Dutch still. But I did do Dutch classes last year up to A1, and I can follow conversations to an extent that are in Dutch. Like when I go for appointments, sometimes I'm able to start conversation in Dutch. But when it gets to the point where it's above me, I'm just like, okay, can we switch to English? But for the most part, it's not difficult. A lot of people do speak English, and it's easy to do most of the things that I want to do. And thank God for Google Translate. But when I first moved, because of the overwhelmingness of everything being in Dutch, especially when I go to the grocery store, I was literally eating only salads for like 2 months or 3 months. Salads and bread and egg, because... And I wasn't even buying like already made supermarket salad. I was buying like, okay, I can see spinach. This is spinach. So I pick it up, and I can see carrots, and then I'll eat it and make my salad. But as I started to learn what different things were, I was able to like buy more stuff in the grocery store without having to use Google Translate all the time. Well, I mostly worked with startups, like when I was in Nigeria. And I worked with like 1 or 2 foreign companies as well, even though like they had like Nigeria offices. So the shifts, it wasn't like too much of a shift to adjust to, but there's definitely a more, like I said, it goes back to the more open culture. So like usually when I have thoughts, like I wouldn't say it in the meeting. I'll say to my manager after, and it's like, just talk in the meeting. And so it took some time to be able to like be more vocal, talking, and it's very important actually, because when you're silent in meetings, there's the impression is that you're not there or you don't understand what's going on, which is not a good impression that you want to give to your employers and your teammates. So that's the main thing. It was like to just talk more and to always ask questions. There's also that thing where, like, as Nigerians, we always shy away from asking questions because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're talking about, or like they've told you when you're younger to stop asking too many questions. But here, like, ask all the questions that you want to ask. Like, nobody frowns at asking questions, and in fact, asking questions is a way to show that you're engaged and you actually know what you're talking about, and you're just in clarity on specific things. So I think, yeah, it's just like being more vocal and asking more questions. Honestly, I don't know, because I wasn't like planning to move to the Netherlands with like intention and I had a 5-step plan. I would just like, if you know that you really want to move to the Netherlands, then look out for the companies that that can relocate you. Talk to people, try and start reaching out to people before you move here, because that also helps you when you arrive. Because that way it's not like you're coming somewhere where you don't know anybody at all. Even if it's like virtually, you've kind of made that connection. And be open and try to learn the language. Like, I find it very weird that you want to live somewhere for an extended period of time and not even attempt to learn the language. So I'm going to continue my Dutch lessons this year. So learn the language, definitely. And if you can start learning from Nigeria with, like, there's so many apps that you can use to learn the language. Start doing that, because it also helps you. I've noticed how much more friendly people are when I start with my bad Dutch. Even, like, people like to see that effort in other people, that, oh, you actually tried. Right? So it really, really helps you with a lot of things if you can even just basic introduction or ask for directions or help or something, and then you can be like, when it has reached the level you don't know again, it's like, please, English. But yeah, I would definitely say reach out to people, use a lot of resources, and also try and learn the language.